Let's look at the big picture. This issue of human trafficking, of migration, illegal migration, has now become a global issue. And it is having impact on politics of key countries. I think one reason why Trump won the election was because of the issue of migration. He made this the flagship issue. And interestingly, today Modi is meeting Trump in the White House, but just before his arrival, he sent 104 Indians, children, women and men, with their hands shackled, handcuffed, on a military plane to Amritsar, where most of the people are there. And according to the American statistics, number one country in illegal migration, Mexico. Number two, El Salvador. And number three, India. India has 725,000 illegal migrants. And last year, 97,000 Indians were arrested and caught trying to come through the Mexican border into the United States. So this is a major issue now in Indian-American relations, which was not there before, by the way, apart from tariffs. So in Mr. Imtiaz Gul's country, Germany, 23rd of February, there's going to be an election. And I think the CDU and the AFD will win the election on this basis. Yeah. Syrian refugees, illegal migrants. So, the right-wing wave, earlier it was France. So this has become a global issue in different dimensions. In Pakistan, we look at the refugee profile. I think for the most part, except for the last few years, I would say Pakistan has been a model host for welcoming refugees from different countries. I think we have had the largest number of refugees for the longest duration in modern history. Not just from Afghanistan, we have the largest Rohingya population in Pakistan, 2 million. We have one of the largest Bengali population, Bangladesh, in Karachi, 1 million. And Somalis also. And I would like to tell you that I was editor of the Muslim. In 1984 or 85, General Ziaul Haq was the president. And he gave, in one stroke of the pen, 30,000 Pakistani passports to Rohingyas living in Saudi Arabia. 30,000. Because they were stateless. And they had come from that. The issue has been, Rohingya issue is a very old one. So they were all given Pakistan passports. And unlike Iran, where the Afghan refugees have been kept in camps, mostly in the Mushahid area, Pakistan has not seen that. And on Pakistan-Afghan relations, first of all, we have to see that this is something quite unique. The border is porous, soft borders. Almost it was borderless for a while. Yeah. By design from our side also, refugees were coming, and in the days of the so-called jihad, and people were being sent there also. So that was the thing. Then the political instability. I think in our lifetime we have seen how many wars now. This was after the Soviet intervention, the so-called Afghan jihad, then the Afghan civil war, then the so-called war on terror. So this is the first time they have not had I think there's no war as such, thankfully. And so I think that there is the context to that also. I personally have been of the opinion that any foreigner or non-Pakistani living in Pakistan who have children born in Pakistan, they should become Pakistani citizens. This was also the view by Prime Minister Imran Khan at one point in time, but there was some opposition. But whether it's Rohingya or Bengali or Bihari or Afghan, if you are living in Pakistan, somebody who's living here for the last 30, 40 years, they are Pakistani, irrespective of that. And Pakistan has been a welcoming place. And secondly, I oppose this forcible eviction of refugees under any pretext. This is not right. This is morally wrong. This is legally wrong. And this is, in my view, politically wrong also. So I have been one of those who say that this is not. Pakistan is a big enough country to accommodate, I think, people who have been coming here for whether economic reasons and other reasons. And we know the situation in Afghanistan. And I think it's a big tragedy, in fact, almost criminal negligence on the part of the United States government that 25,000 Afghans who worked with the US forces in Afghanistan, they are in Pakistan waiting for their visas, which have not been coming. 3 years they have been waiting for their visas. Yes. And now they say they've been stopped by Trump. So I think that the US bears a lot of responsibility for what has happened. And now they're saying give the arms back, so that sort of thing is there. In Pakistan, coming to the contemporary situation, for the first time, I think serious action was taken last week when the DG FIA was sacked on this issue of human trafficking. His failure. And this is, I'm talking of Pakistanis who go abroad legally, but then they become illegals in there. The main cause for that, of course, we know the cause is corruption and all that, but corruption is a key element because the corruption in the airport areas. And this is also linked with, at times, with narcotics. Because it's a high-stake game. A person who is desperate to leave the country for a better future outside, and they say, okay, we give you this money also, and you take this thing also, few $1,000s, and just carry this with you. And in your shoe or your wherever they hide it. And so a lot of those carriers of narcotics and cocaine are also part of human trafficking. As far as Afghanistan is concerned, I think there is a element that we should treat this as a legal and a humanitarian problem. And those Afghans who have been living here and obviously pushing people back to what is happening in Afghanistan. Some people can be threatened because of their lives, and there's economic insecurity also. And I think the people of Pakistan, people say we are very poor, but I think our black economy and undocumented economy is thriving. The people don't pay taxes, and that's the bigger economy. So I think it can easily accommodate. And the toughest jobs are done by Afghan liberals I've seen in Islamabad also. Very, very hardworking, very resilient, and I think those opportunities should be granted and they should not be forced back. But in Pakistan, I think the main issue is control over borders. And that is where the issue is, border management. And here I would say that it has to be an inter-provincial task force at the central level. The only problem is, I agree with Imtiaz Gul Saab that most of our system today is focused on a one-point agenda. When it becomes a political agenda, and that's still not be able to figure out how to control that. So that's why whether it's the intelligence organizations or the security organizations or border control organizations, they are there. And you remember last year there was a fight in the Torkham border among customs and all because of corruption.
Yeah.
There was actually a physical fist fight. I think it was Frontier Corps and Customs or something of the sort. So that kind of thing. So the best way is border controls. And secondly, I think we should do the right thing. We should not force anybody out of the country on pretext. If we have a problem with the regime in Kabul, the Taliban regime, that the Afghans living in Pakistan should not pay the price for that, in my view. They have nothing to do with it. And even I'm one of those who feel that with at least neighboring countries, we should have open borders, by and large. Yeah. In 2 times in our history, we opened our borders, one eastern, one western. And I was present on both. The western border was opened in February 1988 when Bacha Khan was being buried in Jalalabad. I was a journalist, I went for his funeral, and the border was totally opened. No visas, you just go for the burial, and there were a lot of people who went. And in 2006, that was the time of General Zia, and under General Musharraf, it opened in 2005 for the cricket match. Wagah, if you remember, all the Indians were allowed in, they can watch the match. And there were thousands of Indians who came. There was not one act of terrorism, by the way, because of that opening of borders. Not a single bullet fired. Because of the opening of borders. They came for the cricket match. These people who went, they went for the janaza, and they came from Pakistan. Of course, they all came back. And they were when Bacha Khan was being buried, there were 2 bomb blasts, but that was in Jalalabad. So I think that we should learn from these mistakes, and we should open up. And I would feel that Imtiaz Gul Saab's think tank should perhaps formulate a certain strategy that what is to be done, and take it forward. And I think you'll find support on that, because I don't find hostility to people living in Pakistan who are not Pakistanis. And in any case, with most of these there's a cultural compatibility because they are Muslims. And we even gave refuge to the Bosnian Muslims in 1992 when there was ethnic cleansing there. Mm-hmm. And now we have accepted 15 people from Gaza who are from Hamas, and as a gesture of Muslim solidarity. So I think that spirit of solidarity, it's human solidarity or Islamic solidarity or good neighborly solidarity, should be continued in the case of our Afghan brothers and sisters, as we do in the case of Somalia or in the case of Bangladeshis or Rohingya also. Thank you very much.